What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Hopefully you guys are doing well, and today, boys, we're gonna be running you through of what you should and should not be doing on the EA Access, how to get the most out of your time, and hopefully make the most amount of progress in FIFA 22 Ultimate Team. Now, if you guys don't know, EA have a subscription service called EA Play, and if you are a member of EA Play, you can actually already go ahead and download FIFA 22 from the PlayStation Store as a demo, and you're going to be able to play 10 hours of the game before the worldwide release. So today's video, we're going to hopefully try and make sure that you guys aren't wasting your 10 hours if you do have EA Play, and hopefully you guys can use that time efficiently. So if you do enjoy the video today and you find it helpful, don't forget to hit a big old thumbs up, and if you are new around here, don't forget to subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into the tips. Now, the first thing I want to mention is that all these tips are going to revolve around Ultimate Team, and that the reason for that is because Ultimate Team is the one mode that is very time sensitive. In every other mode, you don't really get that much of a head start if you start playing it during EA Play and early access. However, with Ultimate Team, if you start it correctly, you can get a very good boost at the start of the year. So all these tips are going to be around Ultimate Team, but if you're not interested in Ultimate Team and you want to play any of the other modes, my recommendation is just play the modes at your own time, your own pace, and enjoy the 10 hours. Now, additionally, there may be a slight chance that you are actually able to get 20 hours of early access as well if you do have a next-gen console. I know for Madden this year, there was the ability to download both the PS5 and PS4 versions of the trial, and if that's the case, then you're going to be able to get both 10 hours on the PS4 and 10 hours on the PS5. I don't know if it's been confirmed anywhere, but you may have to look around. But from what I've heard from Madden reports, you could potentially have 20 hours if you do have a next-gen console. So if you are lucky enough to have a next-gen console, make sure you go check that out. And anyway, let's get started with the tips. My first tip to anyone who wants to maximize their 10 hours worth of EA access is to prioritize gameplay. By the time this video goes out, the web app should be out, and that means you can do all pack opening, trading on the market, including buying, selling players, either just to make coins or to also progress your team, as well as on top of club management, SBCs, all that sort of good stuff that can all be done on the web app, and you really should spend your 10 hours actually genuinely playing the game. If you're one of those players who are spending FIFA points, then maybe you do want to load up on the console. Quickly do that, log out or out of the game, and then you can go ahead and open your packs on the web app. I know you don't get the animation, but you are going to save a lot of your time, and you're going to want to play games within those 10 hours. I think the only time where there may be an exception to this rule is if you are a player who has recently switched consoles or didn't play the previous iteration of FIFA, and in that case you probably won't be able to access the web app, but I would still try regardless. And if you can log in, then great, but if you can't log in, then unfortunately you're going to have to do all your trading, your opening packs, your buying and selling players on the actual EA Access itself. So that's a bit unfortunate, but if you do have access to the web app, make sure you're using the web app to do all your club management instead of actually doing it on the EA Access. Now that you've made sure to prioritize gameplay, the next question you might be asking is, what mode should I be prioritizing? Now, when considering this, there's three options that I really think are the only viable options, because these are the modes that actually pay out and give you a reward set within the time of your early access. The first of the modes is going to be Draft, and it's probably the mode that I would recommend the least, and the reason why is because there is a pay to entry for FUT Draft. So you need to either pay, I think it's 15,000 coins or 300 FIFA points, unless if it's changed for some reason for this year. And what that means for you guys is that you're going to need to spend either money or your hard-earned coins, and the coins at the start are very, very important in order to go ahead and enter into the draft. And for me personally, unless you make it past the second round, I don't really think that you're making your money back on your draft. The other thing to consider is that there are probably going to be a decent amount of competitive players who have got EA access and want to stretch their FIFA points, and they will probably play in the draft to try out some of the top tier players, not really play with a weaker squad, but also make their FIFA points go a little bit further. So draft usually at this time is probably filled with a lot more higher tier players than you would see throughout the rest of the year. So unless if you're a decently competent player, I would probably steer away from draft. It's probably not my favorite one to recommend. The second game mode that I'm going to go ahead and mention is going to be Division Rivals, and this is not a bad one, especially considering that there is supposed to be a reward set for the week pretty early on. So if you are in the earlier portion of when EA Access has gone live, I think maybe 10 to 11 hours after this video goes live, there should actually be a reward set dropping for Division Rivals. So if you can play a decent amount of Division Rivals, you can actually get yourself a reward set on the first day of early access. The one thing I will say about Division Rivals is you probably will need to have a somewhat decent team. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the teams at the start are pretty low end, but I'm pretty sure you need to win games in Division Rivals in order to progress yourself up the ranks, and it's not going to be easy if you're coming up against players that have FIFA point teams and all that sort of stuff. So if you don't have the best of teams and you're not the most confident of playing online, maybe it's not a mode you want to go in, but if you want to try it and see if you can get yourself an early reward set, that's something I could recommend. The final game mode out of the three, and the one I'm probably going to recommend the most for the majority of players, is going to be squad battles. Now I know it is offline gameplay, and for you guys, if you don't like offline gameplay, then definitely don't have to play squad battles. Go play Division Rivals instead and progress yourself up the divisions. But for me, squad battles I think gives you the best reward set within early access pretty early on. The reward set for squad battles, I'm pretty sure, releases on Sunday, and that is the day before the Ultimate Edition gets released to the rest of the world. So if you are going to get the first reward set for squad battles, you're actually going to need to play during early access to go ahead and get that. Some of the rewards that you can get in squad battles are actually really good, and looking at the elite tiers, I think they've changed up a bit, but if I'm not mistaken, you can actually get 2 50k packs for finishing in Elite 1 and squad battles, which I know can be a bit more difficult for some players, but even if you can get yourself to some gold rewards or maybe some low elite tier rewards, you're going to be getting yourself some pretty decent packs. This is usually the mode that I choose to play whenever I start off my early access, and it always gives me that good coin influx, especially with me running a road to glory. However, if you don't really like offline gameplay, or if you want to spend some FIFA points in the game and you want to try your online team and online gameplay, definitely go ahead and do Division Rivals. I personally don't recommend Foot Draft, especially at the start, but Division Rivals and Squad Battles I think are two pretty good modes for you guys to go ahead and play in. But if you do want to play drafts and you feel pretty confident, then go ahead and do so. Alrighty boys, so now that we've talked about the game modes and what you should be doing on early access, there is a few other tips that I want to give you guys. First of all, if you haven't checked out the milestones tab and the objectives tab, that is something that I'm going to recommend for you guys to do. EA are probably going to be dropping objectives and milestones throughout the early access time period as a little exclusive, and you guys may be potentially able to get yourself some minor packs or some potential players, depending on what they choose to do. So always keep an eye out for that every single day at 6 PM UK time. And then also on top of that as well, in the milestones, I know for a fact that there are some 82+ packs, and then if you're really feeling like you can put on a bit of a grind, I think for like 100 goals or 500 goals, you're able to go ahead and get some pretty beefy packs. I think there's a 100k pack in there, maybe an ultimate pack, but it does take a lot of grind. But I do know for a fact that those sort of packs at the start of the year can have a massive boost to an account. And then finally boys, my last major piece of advice for you guys starting off on the early access is to make sure that you actually close the game. The best way you can do this if you're in Ultimate Team is to back out of Ultimate Team so you're able to log into the web app, and then after that make sure you go ahead and make sure you close application. You know you've done it correctly if you go ahead and try to re-enter the game and it prompts you with that you've got this amount of hours left in the game. If you get that screen, all you have to do is press circle, or I think it's B on Xbox. I don't know how the whole menu situation goes on Xbox, but make sure you close the game on Xbox if you are on Xbox. But at least on PlayStation, if you're able to close the application, that makes sure that you don't waste any more of your time, because if you leave the game inactive and just running in the background, it's actually going to eat up into your time, and you may log back on the next day and find out, oh wait, I've only got 2 hours left of early access. So that's a huge one. Make sure that you're actually properly logging out of the game, and hopefully you should all be good. Anyway guys, that's going to do it for the video for today. Hopefully you guys found it informational and helpful, and yeah, FIFA 22 is here boys, and I'm so excited to start off. Hopefully you guys are able to get your hands on a copy, whether it be via EA Play, so you can get yourself that little 10-hour trial, or if you've got a pre-order. Hopefully you guys can start playing the new FIFA soon, because it's a new year of FIFA. I'm ready to start all over again, and we should have a new video going relatively soon up as well after this video on the channel with our start of the road to glory. So if you do want to see that video and you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe. Also as well, click that notification bell. But anyway boys, that's going to do it for the video for today. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Take care, have a good one, much love and peace.
Whenever your heart is broken, don't ever forget you're golden. I will find the light in your soul.